Imagine this scenario. You're at a restaurant, and a man behind you all of a sudden clutches his chest and falls to the ground. What do? If you don't know CPR, then this guy's probably going to die. But if you do know CPR, then he can last just long enough for the paramedics to get there and for him to survive. I'm Andrew Haverkamp, and I'm going to teach you how to save someone's life today. I've been a lifeguard for about 3 years, and I've been certified and recertified in CPR and first aid more times than I care to count. And so today I'm going to try to pass some of those skills on to you. So there are 3 main steps that I'm going to teach you. First, how to recognize that someone is in need of care. Second, how to determine the care that the person needs. And then third, how to actually administer that care to the person. So first, you need to recognize that someone is in need of care. And so there are basically 2 ways that you can do this. You can either, 1, see somebody collapse or pass out like I described earlier in that scenario, or 2, you can come upon someone that is already unconscious. And so if you come upon someone already unconscious, it is always good to make sure that they are actually in need of care and not just taking a nap or something. So you need to come up and tap them lightly on the shoulder and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And if they don't respond, then it is safe to assume that you have consent to help them. And so if you determine that they are in need of help, then the first thing you want to do is contact 911 and let them know that someone is having a heart attack, they're unconscious, and they need some care. And so then after you've determined that they are in need of help, then you want to do a look, listen, and feel. And the way you do this is what you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to determine if they are breathing and if they have a pulse. And so if you hold up 2 fingers to your own neck, then you can probably feel your own pulse. If not, you should see a doctor, because that is pretty serious. And so that's what you're going to do with them. You're going to reach across, you're going to feel their pulse, and then you're going to put your ear to their mouth as such, and you're going to look down their chest. And you're going to listen for their breathing, you're going to feel for their pulse, and you're going to look at their chest to see if it rises and falls. So look, listen, and feel. And so after this, there are basically 3 things that could happen. Either 1, they have a pulse, and they are breathing. So if this is the case, then you still want to have the paramedics look at the person, but you're going to want to put them on their side in the recovery position. That way, if they vomit or anything gross like that, then it's not going to be all over themselves. They'll be able to breathe. It'll just go next to them. So if they're on their back, they may suffocate in their own vomit, which no one wants to do. So the second scenario is they could have a pulse and they could not be breathing. So if this is what is going on, then you're going to want to administer rescue breaths. And so basically you're just going to be breathing for this person. And so the American Red Cross advises to do 1 rescue breath every 5 seconds. And so the way you do a rescue breath, I'm going to be using a mask, but if you don't have one handy, which you probably won't, you're going to want to tilt their head back, put 2 fingers under their chin, fingers on their forehead, and you're going to want to pinch their nose. And so the reason you're doing all this is to ensure that the breaths are going into their lungs as opposed to their stomach. Because if it goes into their stomach, then they will throw up on you. So you want to pinch their nose, tilt their head back, and then 1, 2, 3, in, out, and exhale into their mouth. And you want to make sure that the breath is going in. And if so, then you continue this until paramedics arrive. If you're using a mask, then you're just going to place it over their head so that it's covering their nose and mouth. Still tilt the head back, and then still 1, 2, 3, inhale, exhale. And you'll still get the breath to them. So that's the second scenario. The third scenario that can happen is they do not have a pulse and they are not breathing. If this happens, then it's very serious. The paramedics need to be there quickly, and you need to act quickly. You need to administer 30 chest compressions for every 2 rescue breaths you do. And so the chest compressions should be done to the beat of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And you should do, yes, 30 chest compressions, and it should be about 2 inches deep into their chest. And you want to hold your hands like I am here, your dominant hand down, the other one on top, and interlock the fingers. Put your palms right on their chest, and then you're going to push down like this. And so what you're essentially doing there is you're pumping their heart for them, helping to circulate the oxygen. And so then you do 30 chest compressions like that, and then you're going to do 2 rescue breaths like before. Tilt the head back. 1, 2, 3, in, out. 1, 2, 3, in, out. And then back to chest compressions. And so you will continue this until paramedics arrive. And so it is very important to know that CPR is not going to save somebody's life. CPR will help someone to stay alive long enough for paramedics to get there and use what is called an AED, which is basically a device that will jumpstart the victim's heart for them. And so after you get all these steps down, then you know CPR, and you will be able to potentially save somebody's life someday. So everyone, I hope you had a good time. Go out there and save some lives.